Mr. Sergeant of Arms, invite the members in the chamber, close doors. I hereby declare the House of Representatives of the 114th General Assembly, State of Tennessee, now in session. Will the members please stand? With the visitors in the gallery please stand and remain standing through the Pledge of Allegiance. Representative Travis will introduce the chaplain of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. It's an honor to stand here before you today and introduce someone that you know that they have Christ in their heart. I mean, just by talking to him, you can talk to him for 30 seconds and you know this man has Christ in his heart. Keith Budd is a longtime minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, investing 25 years in ministering as a youth pastor to teenagers and young adults before becoming lead pastor of the New Union Baptist Church in Dayton, Tennessee in 2024. He and his bride, Sarah, have been married for almost 26 years and are helping 4 beautiful daughters navigate the fun and challenging years of high school and college. Besides finding joy in discipling others, Keith stays active as a longtime runner, achieving one of the longtime goals of completing an Ironman triathlon in 2023. He also enjoys the outdoors, spending time in the woods hunting deer and turkey and tracking wounded game with his wide-haired dachshund or dachshund Ike. Dachshund. But with that, I introduce to you Keith Budd. Keith.
Good morning to you guys here at the Tennessee House of Representatives. It's such a huge honor to be here this Easter week to lead out this meeting in prayer, interceding for you all, asking God to give you all wisdom as you seek to accomplish not just the will of your constituents, but the will of God in this room. And it's an honor to be able to be here and pray for you guys. It's also an honor to be here with my fellow Ray County citizens for what has either officially or unofficially been dubbed Ray Day here at the House. There are about 18 of us here from Ray County here this morning to receive the resolution recognizing the Scopes Trial Centennial. I'm grateful for William Jennings Bryan and his battle for truth during that trial back in 1925. And we'd pray that men today would continue a passionate quest for truth, and especially truth from a biblical perspective. Well, would y'all pray with me this morning? Father in heaven, creator of all things and arbiter of truth, we come to you today to lift up today's proceedings to you. I pray for the men and women here who have been chosen by you to be used to bring about your perfect will and purposes. We are all who we are only because you have made us who we are. And today I pray that you would be with these men and women as they seek to make important decisions that would shape all of our lives in this great state of Tennessee. May you lead them by your Holy Spirit and give them the wisdom to not be led by their flesh. God, guide their hearts and their minds today. And I do thank you for Easter and for Christ who came to this earth, lived a perfect life that we could not, and died a sinner's death, shedding his own blood and paying the price for our sin. And today, those of us that know Christ, that have a relationship with him, we are thankful for his sacrifice that first Easter, and for you sending your perfect son to die on our behalf. We are thankful that he is risen and that he lives, and we remember him today. So, Father, have your way with us today. Have your way in this room. Be with these who are making important decisions today. It is in the name of Christ that I ask these things. Amen.
Representative Travis, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Attention, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Roll call.
Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Speaker, 96 members present.
Let journal reflect Representative Stinnett is excused. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Welcoming, honoring, and announcements.
Representative Travis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request the Sergeant of Arms escort our guest into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms, please escort the guests to the well. Representative Travis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, please read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 289 by Representative Travis, a resolution to commemorate the centennial of the Scopes trial in Dayton. Whereas in 1925, the Scopes trial drew the world's attention to Dayton, Tennessee, where the subject of evolution would become forefront in the minds of every legal scholar and spectator, and whereas the Scopes trial had an enduring impact on the nation's consciousness as it sought to justify the coexistence of faith and science amid the advancing secularism of the early 20th century, and whereas today school children and scholars still return to that courthouse on the square as the subject of the Scopes trial becomes ever more relevant to contemporary public discourse, and whereas Tennessee's countless historical contributions have embedded the state's unique character into the consciousness of our beloved nation and should always be revered, for these are the events that have directed the course of history and will help determine our future. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the House of Representatives, the 114th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we commemorate the centennial of the Scopes trial in Dayton as a fundamental moment in the history of Tennessee and the United States as mankind continues to attempts to reconcile its faith in God while existing in a rapidly advanced technological landscape and secularist postmodern culture.
Representative Travis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the summer of 1925, the world turns its attention to a small town of Dayton, Tennessee, where a trial at a magnitude unfolded, placing faith and science at the center of the public mind and conversation. The state of Tennessee versus John Thomas Scopes, more commonly known as the Scopes trial or the Scopes monkey trial, would come to embody the surroundings of the rapid society technological transformation of the 20th century. Today, we're gathered to celebrate the Scopes trial centennial and recognize its enduring impact as we continue the important discussion of how to recognize the faith and scientific advancement that began on the courthouse square 100 years ago. In March of 1925, this legislative body enacted the Butler Act, which prohibited public school teachers from teaching the theory of evolution. The ACLU responded by offering to defend anyone accused of violating the Butler Act. A local manager from the Cumberland Coal and Iron Company arranged a meeting with the Ray County Superintendent Walter White and local attorney Sue Higgs to convince them that the controversy by the trial would provide Dayton with much publicity. The men agreed, and summons 24-year-old Dayton High School science and math teacher John T. Scopes, who agreed to admit that he had violated the Butler Act for the purpose of prosecution. And then we had highly famed Democratic president nominee and former U.S. Secretary of State William Jennings Bryan accept an offer to present for the prosecution. And the notable lawyer Clarence Darrow later joined the defense. The trial went on 7 days, and William Jennings Bryan and Clarence Darrow would engage in a fierce debate over biblical scripture, theology, logic, and scientific dogma. In the end, Scopes would be found guilty by a jury and fined $100, with a verdict being upheld by the Tennessee Supreme Court 1 year later. And that was the beginning of the Scopes trial for Dayton, Tennessee. We would love for you to come. This is the Centennial. It's a beautiful courthouse, a beautiful museum, and we're proud to be part of it. And today I have some guests with me. I have Jacob Ellis, president of the Ray County Historical Society. Jacob, there you are. And then we have Rick Dye, president of the Ray Heritage Preservation Foundation. Rick. Tom Davis, vice president of the Ray Heritage Preservation Foundation. Doug Mann, the president of Bryan College. And Leon Locke, the city mayor of Spring City. And Jim Vincent, the Ray County executive, who served here in the 102nd General Assembly. I'm also joined by Ashley Howe, the executive director of the Tennessee State Museum, and my lovely wife, Laura Travis, commissioner of the Tennessee State Museum. And if you wouldn't mind, Mr. Speaker, if I could ask Ashley Howe to say a few words.
Yes, she is recognized.
Thank you, Speaker. On behalf of the Tennessee State Museum, I just want to say what an honor it has been to work with the team with Scopes 100. It's a way the State Museum helps support museums across the state, and I invite you to participate in the events in Ray County and also to visit the Tennessee State Museum this summer. We will have a companion exhibition, Scopes at 100. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, if I could have Jim Vincent, the Ray County executive, and a representative say a few words.
He is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, it's a real honor for me to be back here with you today. I want to thank our Representative Ron Travis. He does a fine job for us. Adam Lowe, our senator, Senate Representative Vital. They're all dear friends of Ray County. Ray County's done real well for the last several years, and it's a lot owed to you and the governor and all you do for us to help us keep up with the infrastructure. I want to thank you personally for giving us a new college, TCAT school, that we now have under construction. So I wanted to thank you for that early on. This Scopes trial is big in Ray County. People come, you would think it'd be big in Tennessee or maybe even the US, but they come from all over the world to visit our courthouse. My offices are on the 3rd floor, and weekly I greet somebody from outside our country coming there to look at that courtroom. And I appreciate what the state's done to help us do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Dr. Douglas Mann, if you could recognize him, sir, with Bryan College.
Yes, he is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Representative Travis as well, thank you. The courtroom clash between William Jennings Bryan and Clarence Darrow captured the imagination of a country on the brink of transformation. Their debate just wasn't about evolution, it was about the soul of education, about the boundaries of belief, the direction of a changing America. And 100 years later, those questions remain on our lips and under discussion even in this body. We saw echoes of these debates in the COVID-19 pandemic when tensions between science and faith reemerged. But out of the Scopes trial came something lasting and hopeful as well, the founding of Bryan College in 1930 in honor of William Jennings Bryan, a Christian statesman whose life reflected a commitment to public service and to faith. For 95 years, our motto, Christ above all, has guided our mission to educate students to become servants of Christ in today's world. We're deeply grateful for your ongoing support of Tennessee's historical heritage and of communities like ours in Dayton. Your investment ensures that the legacy of this landmark event continues to inform, inspire, challenge future generations. Thank you so very much.
And as Dr. Mann said, Bryan College is one of the most premier private Christian colleges in the country. And it sits in a beautiful location. And if you ever get to Dayton, go see it. It is absolutely fabulous. Mr. Speaker, if you would give Senator Loeb just a few seconds, I would appreciate that.
Just a few.
I said a few, yeah.
Senator, you're recognized.
No love for the weary. We're in the home stretch. Thank you for honoring Ray County today. Stories like this and moments in history are kind of the collective consciousness of society. And I'm not lost on that. But what I'll say is when we look back 100 years ago to this moment, for a moment, Dayton, Tennessee mattered. It mattered to the United States. And you never know when those moments occur. And I know many of you go home to similar communities. And at any given moment, what that story of your community becomes part of that collective consciousness. So appreciate serving with all of you guys. And thank you for meeting my family and Ron's family today and celebrating this 100 years with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Speaker, would you come down and take a picture with us?
Representative Garrett, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senator Hill and I request the Sergeant at Arms escort our guest into the chamber.
Mr. Sergeant of Arms, escort the guests to the well, please. Representative Garrett, you're recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I request the clerk read the resolution.
Mr. Clerk, please read the resolution.
House Joint Resolution 33 by Representative Garrett, a resolution to honor and commend Raleigh Gaines of Sumner County. Whereas it is appropriate that we honor Raleigh Gaines, a champion swimmer for Sumner County and a former member of the University of Kentucky women's swim team, for her achievements in women's swimming, and commend her for her courageous exercise of First Amendment right to speak openly regarding women in sports. And whereas she joined the University of Kentucky swim team and made the All-SEC freshman team in 2019 and the All-SEC second team in 2019 and 2020, she participated in the 2021 NCAA Women's Swimming and Diving Championship, coming in second in the 4x200-meter freestyle relay and seventh in the 200-meter freestyle race, and earned All-SEC first-team honors the same year. And whereas in 2022, Ms. Gaines placed fifth while swimming for the University of Kentucky in the 200-yard NCAA freestyle championship, tying the University of Pennsylvania swimmer Leah Thomas, who was the first openly transgender woman champion in the NCAA to compete in the women's division. And whereas Raleigh Gaines campaigns against the inclusion of men in women's division of sports, including lobbying her state representatives to pass a law that would prohibit transgender individuals from women's sports. As part of her campaign, she participated in protesting the January 2023 NCAA convention to encourage the NCAA to enact rules protecting women's sports. And at risk of her personal safety, she has spoken at political and other public events in support of keeping women's sports for women. And whereas Ms. Gaines made a national and global impact by taking a courageous stand by publicly speaking about her beliefs that only women should be competing in women's sports, now therefore be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the 114th General Assembly of the State of Tennessee, the Senate concurring, that we honor and commend Raleigh Gaines of Sumner County, a true winner for expressing her beliefs within the boundaries of her First Amendment constitutionally protected rights, appreciate her leadership, and look forward to learning of her future accomplishments.
Representative Garrett, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, and Tennesseans, and Americans that can hear my voice as we honor the lady to my right. Politics doesn't always define us, right? It's divisive, it can be. It helps us advocate, it helps us create policy that we believe in and we don't believe in. And we have that great debate here on the floor, we have that great debate over there in the Senate, we have that great debate in our Congress in Washington, D.C. And that's what's great about America. That's what's great about this lady to my right for what she's done. And what I witnessed this morning when we had a little breakfast for her, honoring her time here, and I saw ladies come up to her and thank her in tears for what she's doing for women across this country. Because it should be something simple that exists in our society, some common sense that boys are boys and girls are girls. That should be what common sense says, common sense drives us. And I know that the folks, that some don't agree with that particular position, agree with common sense, and that's what Riley stands for. To her right is Louis, her husband. They are a great partner. He's often in the background supporting Riley as she travels the nation. And in fact, Riley was in D.C. with Attorney General Bondi as the Trump administration sues Maine because they're not complying with Title VI under executive order to keep men out of women's sports. And she's doing this. She's making that aware. And so I'm honored today that when we started the special session, we honored her. I'm so glad that she's able to be here and continue using her First Amendment right to make sure our ladies of this world have a place and will always be protected in that place and don't have to be inside anywhere with me, and she lived it. She experienced something that I hope your children, your girls, your boys will never have to go through. And she's not going to stop. And I'm so honored that I get to at least recognize what brief time she has to hear the work that she's doing, that the breath will see no limits. So Riley, thank you for being here. I'm going to yield, Mr. Speaker, to Leader Lambeth, which I believe she just moved in to his district in Sumner County. So William.
Leader.
Thank you. Johnny stole my thunder there. I mean, look, this fine couple to my right here is definitely moving up in the world, okay? They have moved into my district from, I think, Johnny's district at one point, Representative Slater's district from one point. And look, both of those are fine individuals, but y'all are truly in God's country now, okay? Seriously, we in Sumner County are very proud of Riley. And look, there's a lot of folks that are afraid to speak their mind on tough issues. And this young lady is not one of those people. She is bold, she is brave, and I just stand here as a girl dad, just very proud of you and your husband, and for just speaking what you believe in deeply, from both personal experiences and just what she advocates for. And it's an example to all of us because, look, she's always polite about it. She's always respectful of the folks she disagrees with. I've seen that over and over and over again in person, where she advocates passionately without dehumanizing the person she's advocating against in any particular argument. And I think that's an example to us all. So Riley, thank you. And God bless you and your husband both.
Representative Garrett.
Mr. Speaker, would you recognize Ms. Riley Gaines, please?
Ms. Gaines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Representative Garrett, Representative Lamberth, Senator Hale. I mean, this is really just an honor to be here as a lifelong and very proud Tennessean. Born in Old Hickory, lived there until about 2008. Then that's when I moved to Gallatin. Moved out to Bethpage, but just recently moved back to Gallatin. While I mention it's an honor to be here, truthfully, it's a shame that I'm here. That me, as a young woman, I have to stand before an entire legislature at both the local, state, and federal level and beg for equal opportunities for women, and beg for privacy in areas of undressing, and beg for safety in our sports and beyond, to beg to not be reprimanded for even daring to question what we were forced to participate in. With this stance, of course, it comes support. The media portrays this issue. It says it's an 80-20. I believe it's much higher than that, much more drastic than that. But also with this stance comes negativity. It comes signs that are entirely silly and based on nothing other than name calling. It comes with members of this legislative body attempting maybe to make a statement who walk out saying fifth place, as if it wasn't fifth place in the entire country, and I'm one of the fastest swimmers in the nation. So while it is an honor to be here, to stand before you all very proudly, as a wife, as a Tennessean, as a woman, as a Christian, as a daughter, it's a shame. It's a disgrace that we have to be here. But that being said, we have seen leadership out of the state of Tennessee. Tennessee has led, other states follow, and I'm for certain that's what we will continue seeing. So thank you to these wonderful senators, representatives who have championed this issue and in turn have championed the next generation, because that's what this fight is about. Thank you, guys.
You want to say anything?
Representative Garrett.
Mr. Speaker, would you join us in the well as we present Riley with a framed resolution? And also, if any of our ladies would like to join us in the well, I would welcome that as well.
Welcoming, honoring, and announcements. Anyone seeking recognition? Representative Hale.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask everyone, if you would, to join me in welcoming students and families from GMU in Smith County. They're up here to our left, so if y'all would help me make them welcome today.
Representative Vital.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, please join me in welcoming a guest I have up in the audience. Autumn Perez is a 14-year-old student at Ooltewah Middle School and the newly crowned Miss Chattanooga Iris Teen volunteer. Passionate about making a difference, she has created her platform about Alzheimer's and is working with teenagers in our community to help them bridge the gap with their family members affected with Alzheimer's. She recently earned a spot on the Ooltewah High School cheerleading team as a rising freshman. So congratulate her and welcome her parents, Miranda and Marcus Perez. Thank you.
Representative Love.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I know that we have many of our members a few weeks ago wore the seersucker suits. Let me encourage you on Monday after Easter. This Monday after Easter, there's still a chance for redemption, still a chance for some grace. Join us Monday, this Monday after Easter. Don your seersuckers, then I'll be, as I have Parkinson standing right next to me. Amen. Thank y'all.
Representative Parkinson. At Representative Love's desk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to correct this. Once the Seersucker Caucus convenes, you can wear seersuckers whenever you want. We have officially convened. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Next order, Mr. Clark.
Introduction to resolutions.
Leader Lamberth, you in the house? Introduction of resolutions. Leader Cochran, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that all resolutions properly filed be introduced pursuant to Rule Number 17 and placed on the consent calendar or referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clark.
Senate Joint Resolutions congratulatory and memorializing.
Leader Lamberth, Leader Cochran, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that all Senate joint resolutions congratulatory and memorializing lying on the desk be placed on the consent calendar pursuant to Rule Number 17.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clark.
Resolutions lying over.
Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that all resolutions lying over be referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clark.
Introduction to bills, Senate bills on first consideration, Senate bills on second consideration, House bills on second consideration.
Leader Cochran, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that House Bills 1440 be passed on second consideration, be held on the desk, or referred to the appropriate standing committee.
Without objection, so ordered. Next order, Mr. Clark.
Petitions and memorials, reports from standing committees, reports from select committees, calendars. Mr. Speaker, the House has a consent calendar.
Chair Lady Moody, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of the consent calendar on third and final consideration in keeping with Rule 50.
Anyone seeking recognition on the consent calendar? Seeing none, we're voting on the consent calendar. All members favor vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed vote no. As every member voted, does any member wish to change their vote? Sapiki, aye. Him or I? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 95, no nays.
Having received the Constitution majority, I declare consent calendar passed without objection. The most for each series table. Next order, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, the House has a regular calendar. Item 1, House Bill 1066 by Chairman Vaughn, relative to vocational services for persons with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, Senate bills on the desk.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute conform to Senate Bill 1388.
Chairman Vaughn moves substitute form Senate Bill 1388, probably seconded without objection. So ordered. Chairman Vaughn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move passage of Senate Bill 1388 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Vaughn moves passage of Senate Bill 1388 on third and final consideration, probably seconded. Mr. Clerk, call up First Amendment.
House State and Local Government Committee Amendment number 1. Mr. Speaker, it's the same as Senate Amendment number 1.
Without objection. Oh, sorry. Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Same as Senate Amendment 1, move to withdraw.
Without objection, Amendment number 1 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, we have Amendment 2 with Chairman Vaughn. Mr. Speaker, it was timely filed.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to send this amendment to the pile of ideas that were less than stellar from myself. So at this time, I move to withdraw this amendment.
Without objection, amendment number 2 withdrawn. Next amendment, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. Speaker, no further amendments.
Chairman Vaughn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What Senate Bill 1388 does is it will hopefully, that's what we're doing here, is hopefully it's going to increase accountability measures for vendors serving within our complex around Capitol Hill, including the Cordell Hall building. And also, it's going to increase the accessibility because it creates and implements a programs that would provide vocational rehabilitation customers, which are eligible individuals with disabilities, the opportunity to operate vending facilities on public properties. These individuals would have essentially the right of second refusal for properties, facilities, and projects for which blind vendors have priority under state and federal law. And this would provide more employment opportunity for those individuals with disabilities. And with that, sir, I renew my motion.
Chairman Vaughn renews the motion. Any discussion on the bill? Seeing none. Oh, Representative Pearson.
Thank you, Speaker. And I just want to thank the Tennessee Committee of Blind Vendors for the advocacy and the work that they did related to this bill, coming to the office, sending out fact sheets so that we could be better informed about this legislation and potential harmful implications before the amendment. So thank you to the Tennessee Committee of Blind Vendors.
All right. Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 1388 as amended, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Ayes 85, 18 days, one present not voting.
Senate Bill 1388, having received a constitutional majority, hereby declared passed without objection. Most reconsider table. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 547 by Representative Cochran relative to public safety. Mr. Speaker, Senate bill is on the desk.
Representative Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 0547.
Leo Cochran moves substitute and conform Senate Bill 547 without objection. So ordered. Leo Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 0547 on third and final consideration.
Leo Cochran moves passage of Senate Bill 547 on third and final consideration. By second, Mr. Clerk, call it First Amendment.
Mr. Speaker, no amendments filed.
Leo Cochran, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, this creates a public safety fund for district attorneys. It mirrors that is available for public defenders. It replaces a fee that used to be on cases for bad checks. With that, I'll yield any questions and renew my motion.
Leo Cochran renews motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Fritz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for bringing this. Just one quick question, and I apologize I didn't get to you before we get started, but the first part of the legislation says by 2/3 vote of the county. For those of us who are in areas where there are 3 or 4 counties together, are we planning on making sure that that's correct, that is taken care of in the rules promulgation?
Leo Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It would be my understanding that it would be that particular county body. If that county wanted to implement that fee, that county government would vote.
Representative Fritz.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So if we have 4 counties and 3 that agreed to it by 2/3 and the 1 didn't, those 3 could still contribute to this.
Leo Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That would be my understanding, Representative. That I don't believe that there's any precedent that a county commission from one county could implement a fee in another county. I think your specific county commission would have to approve that.
Representative Fritz.
Thank you so much. I'm supportive of your bill. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, any objection to the questions? Oh, Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sponsor, did you talk about what would the fee would be used for, how it would be accounted for?
Leader Cochran, you recognize.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Leader. And this would be used for different office purposes. The funding mechanism, it enhances the capacity of the district attorney's offices. It's a funding source for critical government functions such as. Give me 1 second on that one, and I apologize. I have that in my notes, and I'm just currently overlooking it. But yes, essentially, the public defenders have this fee as well, and they can use it. Well, one thing would be one example that we talked about is if they needed expert witnesses, right? If they needed to bring folks in, and this helps cover some of those charges and that kind of thing. And so public defenders have this. DAs have this currently. This just gives them an option but the funding source that they have currently that they use is from those cases where bad checks are written. And so if you implement this fee, you're getting rid of the other fee. So this is a fund that already exists, but it's drying up because fewer people are writing checks. And so since those cases with bad checks are disappearing, that fund is kind of drying up. And so if you want to replace that previous fee with this one, you can vote to do that.
Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, Leader, so it appears that what we're doing is continually adding fees to things in this state to fund government. And if you look at the budget we have right now, that could have been a priority with the $60 billion that we just passed. So I feel like we should just fund the things that we believe need to be funded. So if they have expenses that they need, the state should fund those things instead of taxing and continually nickel and diming people, to pay for these functions. We're already sending taxes to the state. We're already paying taxes on every good and services that we, take advantage of. And now we add in an additional tax, and I'm seeing it more and more. And I'm just wondering why, from your vantage point, this wouldn't be something that, hey, if they need an expert witness, it's in their budget that they put forward. And then, we decide to fund it, either the public defenders or the district attorney's office.
Larry Cochran.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Leader. And let me go back to your initial question first. And I apologize. This was looking me right in the face, and I just couldn't see it. The funds, expert witnesses would be a big part of it. Computer upgrades, travel, that type of thing. If any of that is necessary for an investigation, that's what would be covered under these funds. To answer your second question. So I guess I would just reemphasize that this fee already exists, or funding for this already exists, but it's from a separate source, right? And on those cases for bad checks. And I think the big thing with our court system, it's essentially a user fee, right? Those folks who are using the court system are paying the fees to help fund that system. And so this is keeping with that precedent, and that's been a precedent for a long time. That's when you go to court and you pay court fees, typically that you are paying to fund that court system. And so you're a participant in that system, and the funding is coming from the fees from those cases. That's kind of a long-standing precedent in the state.
Larry Camper.
I understand your point, and oftentimes we've looked at precedents and we've changed them because there are reasons, there are purposes, there are things that happen that require us to make changes. And all I'm saying is I probably never would have agreed that we should put an extra tax on someone to engage the system. And it's something that if we say we're going to have a fair, equitable system, then the state should fund it. I mean, the court system is an extension of the state, and it's just something I feel we should, just fund with the budget and the general fund that we have. So I understand your point. I understand the precedents, but I just see it as another tax that we're putting on people.
Leader Cochran.
Gotcha. And I appreciate that. And like I say, and the big thing, I think the other thing to emphasize is that this is a fee that exists for the public defenders. It's on every misdemeanor and felony charge or felony case, and so this just mirrors it. But I understand your point.
Larry Camper.
Is this fee being increased from what it was before?
Leader Cochran.
No, Leader, just parodying. It will be a parody of what public defenders already have in place.
Chairman Doggett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move previous question.
Previous question been called. Any objection? Seeing none, we're voting. All those in favor of Senate Bill 547, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. As every member casts their vote, does anyone wish to change their vote? Mr. Clerk, please take the vote.
Aye, 73, 23 nays, one present, not voted.
Senate Bill 547 having received a constitutional majority, hereby declare passed without objection. The most reconsidered table. Call up next bill, Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1293, by Chairman Eldridge and others, relative to public records request. Mr. Speaker, the Senate bill's on the desk.
Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1114.
Chairman Eldridge moves substitute and conform to Senate Bill 1114 without objection. So ordered. Chairman Eldridge.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move passage of Senate Bill 1114 on third and final consideration.
Chairman Eldridge moves passage of Senate Bill 1114 on third and final consideration. Properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, call First Amendment.
Mr. Speaker, no amendments filed.
Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 1114 seeks to remove the sunset provision on a subdivision of Tennessee Code dealing with persons that make requests to view or copy public records with the intent, and I emphasize intent, to disrupt government operations in that office. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I renew my motion.
Chairman Eldridge renews his motion. Any discussion on the bill? Representative Renaud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sponsor and I have discussed this. I just wanted to ask some of these questions on the record for folks who have brought some concerns about this particular legislation. Who gets to determine the intent of someone who is disrupting government?
Chairman Eldridge.
I think that would be up to the clerk that is the request is being made to. And I know you and I had talked about this a little bit, and I do understand your concern that, you know, that this person, but if someone is coming in continually and making requests, and I have an example from home where someone comes in, asks for 200 pages, and when they come in to pick them up, they'll take about 8 pages of that. And to me, that would be with someone who is intentionally trying to be disruptive, and especially if they do it. I think they have to do it several times, and I know we discussed the number 5 is in there. As far as a frequency, I don't know. I think that if somebody like you come in and make a request for a record and say you realize you forgot something, and you go back 2 days later and you make another request, I don't think that would be an intent to be disruptive. So there has to be some intent, and there are some folks out there. It's sad that we're having to do something like this, but there are some folks out there that do come in just to be disruptive.
Representative Renaud.
Thank you. I definitely agree with you. There are folks that can do that. With the frequency of 5, can you specify